Hello, everybody. Welcome to this beautiful solstice. Wherever you are in the world, whether you're celebrating the peak of the summer or the peak of the senescence in the winter, it's an auspicious time. When these junctures happen in energetics, when there are balances like in the equinoxes, or when there are the highest of the light and the longest of the dark, these types of turning points or balance points hold another layer of potency for our inner transformation. And based on whatever the energies are around that, can also be influencing, what's happening with us. So, what I'll do to start off with before I just start busting into a rant. I was about to come. I was like, oh, and I'm like, oh no, we're going to call in the elements for a real vacuum. All right. All right. So if you guys want to get comfortable and just closing down your eyes and just taking the opportunity to arrive into this moment, just noticing yourself where you're seated, feeling the rise and fall of your torso with the breath. And as you settle into that, allowing your thinking mind a well-deserved break, and just feeling your breath, being in this now moment. We're going to start by calling in the beautiful element earth, the earth in the south, to help us to anchor into this now more fully, but also to anchor more fully into our own lives, allowing ourselves to walk as we desire, as us, and feeling safe to do so. That beautiful energy of support that the earth always shares with us is a reminder that we are held in every moment. We thank you, dear earth. I'm going to call on water, the water in the east, the great waters, the oceans, the streams, the rains, the lakes, all of the underground waters. We call you to be present with us as well, helping us to keep flowing with our changing times. So much is shifting and changing now and on acceleration that it is important for us to allow flow. For when we pause and hold and go into resistance, it makes the journey so much harder. And so we invite the waters to help support us to feel her softness as we flow through the ups and downs, the things that are presented to us in all sorts of different ways every day. We thank you, great water. We're going to call on the fire in the north, the great fire, to support us to keep our vibrancy, to continue to share our passions, not only with ourselves, but with the world around us. Allow our purpose, whatever that may be, in whatever form, to be illuminated in the flames. May your dance keep us free of entanglements from the past, attachments to stories, collective programs, beliefs that have been embedded through times that aren't aligned with our higher benefit. We thank you, Great Fire. Now I call on the air in the east, the west, the air in the west, coming in to help us to see the bigger picture, to help us to expand, to be able to receive greater awareness of things that are outside what we've been taught in the past. So much more is coming to light with our collective expansion, the veil becoming thinner, so much more remembering of the truth of who we really be. And so as we work with the air elements, it helps to allow even more expansion as the air holds that space and helps us to see the bigger picture. A beautiful power of integration that happens as we allow all possibilities to be just as they are. We thank you, Great Air. Calling on Father Sky, may you hold us in alignment with the sacred universal law so that we may walk ourselves home from that depth of awareness of the truth of the greater reality. May you oversee the balance and harmony, and that maintaining that all is as it should be, even when it's difficult to see what that might be from this third dimensional reality, helping us to maintain that openness of the possibilities of a bigger picture that we're unsure of. The great Mother Earth, may she hold us with that energy of the unconditional as she does. She provides everything that we need at all times. This is just something that we have forgotten. She is always there to hold us, to support us, to feed us, to help us breathe, to give us water, to give us shelter, to give us everything that we could possibly desire in this plane of reality. We thank you, beautiful Mother Earth. And now calling on the sacred in-between, which is us. That light that shines within all things, that exists between all of these elements and all of these other forces, including in us. There are no exceptions. May we find our way back to remembering that, remembering the light that exists within us, that is that same light that is of Source. So we are also that frequency. The entanglement of the density in this dimensional reality is something that has kept us separate. It's something that keeps us in repeating cycles. We are taught to be victims of circumstance when this is simply not true. The greater reality, and in the realization that everything is as it should be, and the reason we meet different experiences on our timelines is for our benefit, as we have chosen before coming in. Before we incarnate, there are things we desire to experience on a soul level. And it's these soul codings that come with us as we enter the realm. These codings are magnets, and they continue to magnetize experiences until we meet an evolution. We were never meant to be victims, but this information was lost. It was stricken from the texts, stricken from the teachings. And this is when the earth fell into darkness and forgotten. But with the return of light, so much more of this is available now. The teachings of how energy operates is like a user manual. It is not just theory. It is not just speculation. It's a user manual. And so these codings that we enter with express our desires for evolution. And this is why we arrive to evolve through certain patterns. These patterns are there calling to us for our evolution. However, when we feel it fall into victim and suffering and blame of everything on the outside, it's not to take away from pain and suffering that may happen in the moment. It's about how we can navigate ourselves through to a deeper understanding of change, of how we may change what is happening to us and for us. What is it calling for when things arise that don't feel in alignment with us? Emotions are never good or bad. Emotions are there as a compass that indicate to us what is in and out of alignment with our higher self. How does that feel? They're not things to be negated. Heavy emotions are not there to be stricken from the record. They are there for our awareness, to show us where there is a path of evolution. There's a point where things can be shifted, and that's why they arise. The problems become when the emotions get buried. They get buried and they create distortion all the way into the cells of the body and become to be expressed as physical disease in an end stage hope that there becomes some recognition about something being out of harmony. But that's also being forgotten. It is being re-remembered again. And this is where we're sitting right now in this great acceleration. We are sitting at a juncture with multiple dimensional realities present for us in any time. The path that we're on as a collective is to allow ourselves to not simply let go of the past, but to evolve to a higher perspective of the path. And this is what creates long-term transmutation. The only way something can disappear is by changing it, because the codings we have are there for our benefit. It's not as simple as writing something on a piece of paper and throwing it in the fire. That can show an intention and a will to change. However, if the underlying soul desire is to evolve through a pattern, it continues until the pattern is met from a different perspective. This is the greater reality. So when we dive into the concept of the fifth dimension, It's a change in perspective. It's not changing another planet or moving somewhere else. It's simply allowing ourselves to transmute the density, not just let it go, but transmute the density so it is no longer a part of our path. And in the transmutation of all of the density, or even layer by layer by layer by layer, creates space for more and more lightness. And the more and more lightness that we're able to hold, the higher our frequency. And then the higher our frequency, the more expanded the perception and the perspective. This is how energy operates. And as we allow ourselves to continue that journey of evolution, we allow ourselves to hold more and more light so that we become a match to a higher realm experience on this same beautiful earth. We're not going anywhere. We're actually evolving right here. We're allowing a different world to be created as we witness the world differently. We allow ourselves to see through the lens of love rather than the lens of fear. And none of this is anybody's fault. It is simply what happened last millennium in the darkness before the higher dimensional grids were connected or reconnected. They've been here. They've been here for a long time waiting for frequencies to be at a certain stage to be able to hold evolution. And this is where we're at. This is where we're at as a collective. We're here stabilizing a higher reality. More and more of us are awakening to the fact that there is so much more than we were born into. There is so much more available for us now as humans. But the old world is very sticky. The entanglements, the pain, the old stories that we have never been taught to evolve through. And this is what continues to be the glue that pulls us in and out of a higher dimensional reality. We touch the stars when we have our realizations and revelations. But then the default into the stress, into the past, into the programming that keeps us stuck in the stickiness of the old world. There is so much more that hasn't even started scratching the surface because of this connection still to the old way of being. This desire to stay comfortably uncomfortable as a human race, to feel that change is too hard. That complacency is also okay. That's a choice. That's a path. But if things don't change, things can't change. Wishing and creating are two different things. Wishing for things to manifest without creating alignment is a wish. Creating alignment is manifesting, is actually bringing things into creation at a whole nother level. And this is where we're at. This where we're at as a collective. And so the offer is to allow yourself to be aware of when you feel your energy sink, and rather than find a blame or attribute it to something unsavory, can we start to pause, notice, and feel what it's calling from us rather than doing to us? What is it asking for? What's there for us? The opportunities to shift and grow. Something else that's been coming up a lot is in relationships with loved ones, with friends, with families, is that when we arrive on the evolutionary path, that the more we allow ourselves to grow and heal, the more obvious the unhealed. But the mastery in that is to allow it to be as it is. There is nothing that can be done to shift anybody onto a healing journey until they're ready, if they're ever ready. And so it's in that acceptance becomes the mastery, particularly when you see more and more as your awareness does expand. You recognize these patterns, many that we've lived, which is why we know them. And you see them in the world. And can we hold compassion for that rather than create another story? Because that is what pulls us back into the third dimension, is the making a better or worse, the creating of that hierarchy, because there is none. There is no hierarchy. We're all source light playing out a different story. We're all the same. This hierarchy is also a construct of the old world, one that doesn't serve anybody or serves very few. So as you take a moment to breathe into that, the offer is really inviting you to witness the gifts. Witness the gifts in all as best you can. Even if the gift is, I don't understand right now why this has happened, but I will stay true to my deepest knowing that everything is light and everything is love. At the center of everything is love and light. And this is what continues to create expansion, acceleration that comes with that, because higher frequencies move faster. And so it's not our imaginations, time is actually going faster because it's frequency. And there's this beautiful dance and interplay that has been seen all over the skies. All of these auroras is plasmic energy that is coming through to bring more light. Plasma binds light in physical. That's the role of plasma. And so all of this plasmic light that's enhanced by the solar flares that we're always hearing about now, much more regularly. And these beautiful auroras are bringing more light to raise our frequency, to raise the frequency of the earth, to hold us at a higher frequency. And then as we raise, she has the potential to hold higher frequencies. And so there's this beautiful dance. Because there is a law of sovereignty, we actually have a choice. We have a choice in every moment about what we do. We've just been led to believe otherwise. At times, we have the choice to evolve, not to evolve, to heal, not to heal. And so this evolution that we're on, there is no end date. There are no dates because it is all happening in the now. It's happening in this now. Something else that's been coming up is, disclosure about multidimensionals, when the awareness of that is going to arrive. And it already is arriving. It's arriving as we allow ourselves to be able to open enough to hold that without fear. This is what's happening. Once there is enough stability to be able to hold that awareness on a greater scale, then perhaps it will be for all of the collective to see. But maybe those who choose not to won't see anyway. This is how it works in the hologram. It works according to our beliefs. It works according to our frequency. What we magnetize is our own likeness. And so when we're kept in pain and suffering, we magnetize more of that. When we decide we're going to evolve and to see more of the shiny side of the coin in the duality that also exists in all, one of the other laws, then we magnetize more of that layer of experience. And so we really do have a choice once we're awake and aware that we can curate our lives as we desire. We can do that as much as we believe in it to be possible. Those who need proof before they will believe, that's not how energy operates. They will always be needing proof as long as they need proof. But to believe opens a whole nother layer. It opens a whole nother gateway, a gateway of possibilities that are here for us. It's massive. It's massive how much we're controlling our own game, our own game in the matrix. But literally. And so on this beautiful juncture where we're at now, we're opening to greater and greater evolutionary cycles at every juncture point. There's a new beginning. There's a new pathway as we decide it to be that for us. We get to decide. We get to decide if we keep taking the old with us, dragging it behind, stuck in the mud, or whether we walk through and allow a higher timeline to unfold in front of us. In this space of acceleration right now, so much more is being revealed all the time. We're at such an exciting epoch in our collective history, in the history of the universe, because not only are we evolving, as we evolve and expand, the whole universe does, because as above, so below, which is why there is so much extra support here, making sure we do make it this time as a collective. The timeline of destruction is the faintest it's ever been, because there's always timeline potentials. There's never a certainty about the future because it's always being created in every now. but there's potentials, there's pathways. And wherever the most energy is flowing at one time is what comes into creation. And right now, the destruction one is barely there because there is so many things aligning, for our collective evolution. And to come back and remember that, remember actually how lucky we are to be here at this time, to actually witness a dimensional shift in real time. It's like an honor. It's like an honor to be here, to be able to remember. There's something else that comes forward a lot when there's questions and other parts of information that comes through, and that's about, I just lost the train then trying to explain where it came from. Coming through, give me a moment. No, it's gone. Maybe it'll come back later in another transmission. And so, the honor of being here in this time is just that. And as we allow ourselves to start to witness the grace that is already here for us in every moment, we align with that. We begin to create our own frequency as a match to that with which we witness, through which we witness. So being aware of that starts to change everything. Allowing possibilities to open more and more through our beliefs and through our frequency. Frequency is everything. We allow ourselves to sit in higher frequency energy without there needing to be a reason is the embodiment. It's the becoming of what we already are and our core. Being able to hold that for no other reason than it's possible, because it already is. And this is the beauty of it all. There's nothing we need to seek that isn't already a part of us. It's just allowing ourselves to realize the barriers, the illusions that have been created through the lived experience in this dense realm, which is what it is, and which is why it's nobody's fault. Coming into density requires a slowing down of our light bodies enough to take physical form. And when our frequencies slow down enough, we forget. It's all part of the process. And so the journey is to walk back home to remember. It's the whole reason that humanity exists, to be that bridge, the bridge between heaven and earth. And we've made it this time. It's just now the unfoldment, the continued unfoldment. Can we hold it? Can we allow the suffering to be the past more quickly? But it's up to each of us, because we're all holding frequency as part of the whole. We're always taught what difference can we make as one, but we're all ones, and we all contribute to the collective frequency as well. And so know that any little thing that you support yourself with, to be able to allow yourself to let go of the pain and suffering, is benefiting the collective. Because the beauty of being collective frequency is the more of us that can and choose to evolve, the easier it is for everybody else. Because in a higher frequency reality, it's much easier to transcend the things that aren't a match. And this is how it ends up rippling the entire collective through all of us playing our part to come back to the love that we really are. Holding that beautiful compassion for those who are yet to see. Just breathing into that. Seeing if there's anything else that wants to be shared right now, but that feels like that was a lot. It feels like that was a lot. And I know that if you've come to this transmission, you get it. And there'll be bits that allowed you to connect up other bits that you already know to create another layer of expansion as well. And it has been my absolute honor to serve. So we also offered that we do some readings. We'll do some energetic readings for the people who are here with me in this moment, and see how we're going for time. Those that are on the replay, I might send those separately. And so while we're all here in circle, I'm just going to take a moment. I'll just move around in no specific order. So we'll start with Ange. I'm just going to take a moment to tune in. There's this beautiful sense of lightness, all in your energy field. And this lightness, it feels like an illumination. It feels like there has recently been another level of breakthrough for you. And so what the guides would like for you to know is that all of the work, the inner work that you've been doing to allow yourself to reach this point is to be commended, and to allow yourself to receive that, to receive the dedication that you have to have transcended the patterns that were holding you for generations and your family line. So the path ahead will remain as bright for you as you allow it to be. And it feels that something to hold is your empowerment to remind yourself of the gift that you are, to so many. And by coming back to that re-empowerment of the self, it will be much easier for you to maintain your illumination, to maintain this higher state that is emanating from your beingness at this time. So as you walk forward, continuing to come back to your inner fire, hold that empowerment no matter what's happening around you. hold it with grace. Fire can burn, but an empowered fire allows others to walk their path and do as they choose as well. An empowered fire holds itself with the deeper knowing that there is nothing that needs to be done. Nothing needs to be done. Actions can come from desire to share, desire to give, desire to gift, rather than the feeling of need and obligation. And to recognize and discern the slight variance in those frequencies will also serve you moving forward in the coming weeks and months ahead. So we'll just move around. Beautiful Kelly. I'm going to take a moment to connect into your field, Kelly. See what would like to come forward. Getting a sense of this energy of your being that is going from kind of being held in for it's almost like fear of judgment or fear of, standing out in a way that might be looked at disapprovingly. It feels like because of your sensitivities, that's something that you've been very astute to, and how you would protect yourself in the past was to hold your energy in, hold yourself in, kind of like hiding in a way. But what it feels like is that there's opening, there's shifting, I can feel this beautiful lightness around. It's like you filling you. That's kind of the image, the impression that I'm receiving. It's, that you filling you with more of you. And again, allowing that to be woven with beautiful grace. Because in any shifts, at times there can be resistance from others around when there are shifts and changes, if it no longer suits them as well as it did before. But to weave your expansion with grace, being aware of not taking things personally when others are in resistance and may say things from an unhealed perspective, that's not about you. But to come back to the beautiful grace that is your divine nature, and to hold your energy in that, and to hold them in compassion, rather than needing to feel like you need to defend yourself. And as you allow this beautiful grace to weave through your expansion, I'm just getting a sense of this another whole layer of evolution that's right there. It's right there for you that you're stepping into. Congratulations. So good. All right. Beautiful Lynn. Let's take a minute to tune into your field. Then there's so much openness. There's so much openness in your upper energy centers. It feels like there is so much wisdom there. It's like I'm just getting this awareness of, you know, all of this beautiful connection to the greater reality and this deep wisdom, but it's like it's constricting around here. And it feels like this space is holding old stories of when there's a few layers. Stories where you've been shut down from expressing your truth. But what spirit wants you to know is that your truth is your truth. And the depth of wisdom that you hold can be uncomfortable at times for those who aren't at that level of awareness. And so there's nothing wrong with what you share or your perceptions or anything that's related to your truth, because your truth is your truth, but your truth is held at a really expanded level. And so that can be uncomfortable for others rather than there being anything wrong with what you're capable of perceiving and also what you're capable of articulating as well. It feels like it's there, but the receiving of that by others who aren't receptive to that level of frequency is maybe more of the barrier sometimes. And so there's this beautiful energy of encouragement, and encouragement for you to move that beautiful wisdom that you're receiving down into your heart space. And you might practice this as to help reharmonize it, is to just vision this beautiful light and this beautiful, I'm actually seeing codes as well, like you're receiving layers of information that haven't arrived yet here. And so being able to open that channel of communication is important. It's not obligatory because we are all sovereign beings, but it is important for those who are here to hear your message. And so you might vision this beautiful light and these beautiful codes coming down and through and see them being received smoothly all the way into your heart. And as you feel them moving down and through and into your heart, create expression from the heart. Because what will happen as it weaves through your true heart is it will take on a frequency of softening. And so it's going to be easier for people to receive what you're sharing. So that practice, yeah, I think that practice is going to serve you really well, to just keep working with that awareness of, yeah, just not even, it's not even modifying, but it's softening. It's softening through the heart, the frequency of the transmission, and it becomes easier for people to receive. And then, of course, always being anchored into the earth. Yeah, especially when there is. I'm seeing there's so much light coming through the your upper energy centers, and to, sit with it and do your transmissions through the heart, but also anchor that energy all the way down into the earth as well. Yeah, it feels like that's important too, because some of the codes that are coming through is for the earth. So it's to be received by the earth. And so if you sit, even if it's just 5 minutes a day, it helps to recode energy and to open pathways, and just to allow that energy to move down and anchor into the earth, but also the parts that are to be expressed, to express through the energy of the heart. Hopefully that's helpful for you. Mm-hmm. Beautiful Tonya. Take a moment. Just take a moment to beautiful Tonya. What I'm being aware of is it's like the energy of hiding, and sort of feels like hiding your light. See like timelines behind you of persecution, which is why the feeling of hiding is like a safety. It feels like a safety. But what Great Spirit would like for you to know is that it's time. It's time. There are so many here now who are here to support this evolution, that it's time for any and all of us who can to know that we're safe. We're safer than ever. We're safer than ever to be who we are, to come here and allow ourselves to be exactly who we are. So as you breathe into that, the invitation for you as you walk forward is it feels like there's already decisions there for you about, how you might choose to walk forward. And so the invitation is to connect with your beautiful heart, connect with your true essence. As you breathe into that and allow the waves of that beautiful energy of the compassionate heart, a beautiful energy of unconditional. And as you calibrate to your higher frequency, feel what you know to be true rather than think. Because the thinking mind is what creates the distortions by over analyzing. But the problem with the thinking mind is that it runs through the subconscious as well. And so things can be shadowed that's there. And so when we run things through the heart and know what we feel to be true, this is more of this is more of a clarity space to receive from. And it feels like that would be good for you to do in as you walk forward in the coming days and weeks and months as well. Notice when you get stuck in your head and bring the energy down into your beautiful heart. Connect with that deep knowing, that deep inner essence. Feel what you know to be true and know that, because it is. It is. The most beautiful thing about trusting our inner guidance more and more is that it gets easier to do because it's like, oh yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it's really just that allow it, rip the band-aid off, allow it to be so, and then watch it unfold. Watch the magic unfold. Yay. Yay. I hope that's helpful for you. Ah, beautiful myth. Yay. Beautiful myth. Take a moment now to tune into your beautiful energy. There's so much excitement, wonder, and awe in your energy field. It's like, but there's like this energy of like kid in a candy store. There's just so many amazing, inspirational things that like I just get this energy. It's like all of it, all of it, all of it, because it's so wonderful and magnificent, like all of it. But then the all of it, you already know. The all of it is what you already are. And so, even though the energy of that beautiful excitement and, all of that feels elating, but what it does is it creates this because you can't sustain that the heightened expending of energy, which is why there's this, it feels like, yeah, there's these sort of patterns. It's like, look, crash. Then it's like, yeah, 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 crash. Yeah, 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 crash. And so, and so the offer is to hold all of it, hold all of it from the space of center, this space of center, and allow the elation to be while connected to the earth. Because it feels like the depletion's happening when you get all excited and like it's losing energy. And it feels like if you hold your center, practice holding your center and having your center anchored into the earth as a all the time kind of thing until that repatterns your energy. Just keep coming back to center. Am I centered? Am I anchored? And to really visualize this beautiful light within in its wholeness and its anchor down into the earth. And so when these excitement bits, rather than them all going out, calling them back in. So calling them back into that stillness. Not boring stillness or anything like that, because that doesn't feel like your type, all the excitement and all of that. But really, can you hold it? Can you hold it from, that from that space of inner cultivation? Because that's what will holding that energy within is what's going to help to stabilize your inner energy, but also maximize your inner energy too. Because rather than expending it outwards and becoming depleted, it's actually calling it back in and regenerating. It's regenerating while, we're working with that light within. Often we just think it's just the food and the nourishment that makes energy, but the light does as well. And so to, practice that, I think that will be beautiful for you moving forward. So, all of you beautiful beings that have come to this transmission, it has been my absolute honor and privilege to be here with you. If you do ever have any questions or anything you'd like for me to share through the higher realms, please reach out. It's always actually do my best work in responding. So I'm always like, questions, questions, questions. And then we just open the field and, the information comes. And so, yeah, I'll love you and leave you. Have the most amazing solstice. If you're in the summer, be out in it. If you're in the winter, go back in and be in it, in it. But, most of all, joy. Find the joy that's always there as well. Sending you all my love.